Hey, gang. So I wanted to address some questions that I've had. I've had few people come to me and say, like, how can I help? With everything that's going on, with all the hate and all the things that are going on in the world right now, and the rise of fascism, and people that are suffering in their communities, and there's just a lot of anger and hurt going on in this country right now, whether it's been caused by provincial governments, whether it's been caused by federal governments, whether it's been caused by municipal governments, whether it's been caused by MPs, whether it's whatever. So I want to give an opinion on something that I think is extremely positive, and that's the United Way. Now, full disclaimer before I go on, the United Way does not endorse me in any way, shape, or form, nor do I claim to represent the values that the United Way has. I am giving a full disclaimer that they know nothing about this video, and I am not speaking on behalf of them. I'm only speaking on behalf of myself and my personal opinion regarding what they do. As well, I will also clarify that I am giving an example of the United Way in my personal area, whereas different United Ways in different communities across Canada and the United States and everywhere else will have different programs going on. So I'm only speaking of my area. So the United Way was created because a lot of people back in the day would be going door to door looking for donations for the Cancer Society or the Kidney Foundation or the homeless center down the street, or whatever charity it was that they were collecting for. So the United Way in my area will set a fundraising goal of, let's say, $1 million a year. I'm just throwing a number out there. So in that $1 million a year, other charities locally can apply to the United Way for funding, depending on what it is that they need funding for. So not only do they need to prove that they need this funding through a requisition, but then they also have to show that they're using this funding for what they're saying they're going to use it for. This funding is only given out per year. So if it's given out this year and that person or that charity does not use the funds that they're supposed to use it for, they can be denied the following year. So as an example, in my community, the things that our United Way stands for, number one, they were involved with a program to help feed people by gathering foods and vegetables from grocery stores or businesses that those fruits or vegetables were about to expire, or they got a truckload of, potatoes that they couldn't process. So these food items were given to an organization so that they could be cooked into food and made into pre-made meals that could be delivered to people who didn't have meals. They also support a local women's shelter. So a women's shelter where abused women have left their spouses or left their dangerous situations with their children, and they're looking for somewhere safe to be. They give funding for that. They've done fundraising for Big Brothers and Big Sisters, which stays locally in our community, and as well as some of the small areas around me. Because I'm a small city, I'm about 75,000 people, but on the outskirts of our city, anywhere between 15 minutes to 45 minutes, there's some smaller communities as well. So the funding that's given to the United Way stays within those communities. The United Way also does tax clinics at seniors' homes. They bring in people who can do their taxes for them so that they don't have to go out and do that for themselves. They also support a program every fall where they gather up a bunch of volunteer students and they go door to door to some of the seniors residents who may have a ton of leaves in their yard in the fall, and they rake leaves. They spend the entire day with 2 buses full of volunteer kids, and they drive around to all these different places and they rake leaves literally the entire day. So my local United Way does a lot for our community. Now, while I do not discourage not donating to large corporations, for example, the Canadian Cancer Society or the Diabetes Foundation or, the Kidney Society, those places are wonderful to donate to if you want the money to go more towards research or, the overall study of these diseases and how they can affect people. So I'm not discouraging anyone from donating to those causes. But for someone who's concerned more about their local environment and want to ensure that the funds stay locally within their area, the United Way is an example of a great place to send your donations. And as well, if you are an organization that runs charitably to help people in your city or your area, the United Way is a good place to look to get funding for those things. So again, I'm only speaking about the United Way in my area. I do not represent them, and they do not speak for me. But from what I can see, I have seen absolutely nothing but 100% positive reaction from the citizens of my city based on the good that the United Way does. They stuff backpacks every year for young children who don't have, supplies to go to school. They buy these backpacks and they fill them full of paper and pencils and pencil crayons so that these kids can go to school. they're just an all-around good organization, and they care about your local community. So I just wanted to let you guys know that that's kind of the thing that's going on. A lot of people are not aware of what the United Way does. And the reason I wanted to speak out loud about it is because I have seen personally and volunteered with them numerous times to see the things that they are doing and the good that they are doing. And I don't think enough people in my city know about this. You can sign up with certain employers. They will do employee deductions off your check to support them every month. But if you can throw $30 to the United Way every month, if that helps your community, then why not? If you have the capability and you have the money to participate in something like that, I think it's an absolutely wonderful idea. Now, I'm not being insensitive in understanding that some people can't afford that, and that's fine. If you can't afford to donate, I'm not saying that you should. But what I am saying is if you are someone who is in a better position than some, and you're capable of, $50 a month or $30 a month or even $25 a month to be able to help the people in your community, that the United Way is a great way to do that, because you will get the most for your money, and the most people that you know or that you are connected with will get the most help from that money. So that's just a quick heads up on what I think you can do to help people in your own communities that may be suffering, that may be having, struggling getting food or struggling getting help. The United Way is definitely a place to look at. Now, depending where you are in Canada or the United States, look at your local United Way, look at the different programs that they support and see if it's something that you want to look at. But I really wanted to put that out there as a wonderful option for helping your local community. So support your local United Way. They do wonderful things, and I'd love to see them get as much support as possible. So thanks for listening, guys.